trolls in the Northlands, the elves of Quel'Thalas bent their efforts towards rebuilding their glorious homeland. The victorious armies of Erethdor returned home to Southlands of Strom. The human society of Erethdor grew and prospered, yet Thoradin, fearful that his kingdom would splinter apart if it overextended itself, maintained that Strom was the center of the Erethdorian Empire. After many peaceful years of growth and commerce, mighty Thoradin departed on one final quest, never to return, leaving Erethdor's younger generation free to expand the empire beyond the lands of Strom. The original 100 Magi, who were tutored in the ways of magic by the elves, expanded their powers and studied the mystic disciplines of spellweaving in much greater detail. These Magi, initially chosen for their strong wills and noble spirits, had always practiced their magic with care and responsibility. However, they passed their secrets and powers onto a newer generation that had no concept of the rigors of war or the necessity for self-restraint. These younger magicians began to practice magic for personal gain rather than out of any responsibility towards their fellows. As the empire grew and expanded into new lands, the young magicians also spread out into the Southlands. Wielding their mystical powers, the magicians protected their brethren from the wild creatures of the land and made it possible for new city-states to be constructed in the wilderness. Yet, as their powers grew, the magicians became ever more conceited and isolated from the rest of society. The second Erethdorian city-state of Dalaran was founded in the lands north of Strom. Many fledgling wizards left the restraining confines of Strom behind and traveled to Dalaran, where they hoped to use their new powers with greater freedom. These magicians used their skills to build up enchanted spires of Dalaran and reveled in the pursuit of their studies. The citizens of Dalaran tolerated the magicians' endeavors and built up a bustling economy under the protection of their magic-using defenders. Yet, as more and more magicians practiced their arts, the fabric of reality around Dalaran began to weaken and tear. The sinister agents of the Burning Legion, who had been banished when the Well of Eternity collapsed, were lured back into the world by the heedless spellcasting of the magicians of Dalaran. Though these relatively weak demons did not appear in force, they did sow considerable confusion and chaos within the streets of Dalaran. Most of these demonic encounters were isolated events, and the ruling magicrats did what they could to keep such events hidden from the public. The most powerful magicians were sent to capture the elusive demons, but they often found themselves hopelessly outmatched by the lone agents of the mighty Legion. After a few months, the superstitious peasantry began to suspect that their sorcerous rulers were hiding something terrible from them. Rumors of revolution began to sweep through the streets of Dalaran as the paranoid citizenry questioned the motives and practice of the magicians they had once admired. The magicrats, fearing that the peasants would revolt and that Strom would take actions against them, turned to the only group they felt would understand their particular problem, the elves. Upon hearing the magicrats' news of demonic activity in Dalaran, the elves quickly dispatched their mightiest wizards to the human lands. The elven wizards studied the energy currents in Dalaran and made detailed reports of all demonic activity that they beheld. They concluded that although there were few demons loose in the world, the Legion itself would remain a dire threat so long as humans continued to wield the forces of magic. The Council of Silvermoon, which ruled over the elves of Quel'Thalas, entered into a secret pact with the magicrat lords of Dalaran. The elves told the magicrats about the history of ancient Kalimdor and of the Burning Legion, a history which still threatened the world. They informed the humans that so long as they used magic, they would need to protect their citizenry from the malicious agents of the Legion. The magicrats proposed the notion of empowering a single mortal champion who would utilize their powers in order to fight a never-ending secret war against the Legion. It was stressed that the majority of mankind would never know about the Guardians or the threat of the Legion for fear that they would riot in fear and paranoia. The elves agreed to the proposal and founded a secret society that would watch over the selection of the Guardian and help to stem the rise of chaos in the world. The society held its secret meetings in the shadowed Tirisfal Glades, where the High Elves had first settled in Lordaeron. Thus, they named the secret sect the Guardians of Tirisfal. The mortal champions who were chosen to be guardians were imbued with incredible powers of both elven and human magic. Though there would only ever be one guardian at a time, they held such vast power that they could single-handedly fight back the Legion's agents wherever they were found in the world. The Guardian power was so great that only the Council of Tirisfal was allowed to choose potential successors to the mantle of guardianship. Whenever a Guardian grew too old or wearied of the secret war against chaos, the Council chose a new champion and, under controlled conditions, formally channeled the Guardian power into its new agent. As the generations passed, Guardians defended the masses of humanity from the invisible threat of the Burning Legion throughout the lands of Arathor and Quel'Thalas. Arathor grew and prospered while the use of magic spread throughout the Empire. Meanwhile, the Guardians kept careful watch for signs of demonic activity.
Hey, Zappo here, spinning a yarn about my trip to Wailing Caverns. Thought I'd offer guided tours, but the wildlife had other ideas. The deviate pythons thought my hat was a tasty appetizer. It took a Tauren druid to shoo him away. Note to self, next time bring a bigger hat.
The Greatest Minds of Azeroth, Gnomish Inventors. Read to you by Iggy Moppet. In this month's publication of The Greatest Minds of Azeroth, we'll be taking a look at the shortest geniuses from the Eastern Kingdom. The adaptive and intelligent gnomes of Asmodan are known for their groundbreaking creation, ranging from small, handheld devices to earthquaking, mountable robo-suits. We will take a closer look at the most renowned inventors of gnomish kind from the last century. Both well-known and obscure virtuosos will be presented today, displaying their engineering accomplishments to the world. Tankmaster Overspark. The discombobulator ray is without a doubt Overspark's magnum opus. This nifty little machine allows for simple, albeit very risky, transformations of living beings into harmless squirrels. When unveiling and demonstrating his grand creation, the masses were astonished by the level of ease with which the ray gun could be operated with. What they were not astonished by was the fact that the test subject transformed into a vicious raptor shortly after assuming its new squirrel form. Luckily, the wild beast could be subdued and no gnome was harmed in the process. Oglethorpe Obnauticus. Mr. Obnauticus was considered a genius even among the High Council of Tinkers in Gnomergan, yet, after an unforeseen incident during a robot fighting competition, he was ostracized from the great city. While the actual course of events was never published, there are rumors saying Obnauticus was set up by a fellow inventor misusing his harmless robot fighting blueprints to build a violent machine and putting the blame on him in the process. Following his exile, he settled in the port city of Booty Bay, from which he developed an autonomous sentry unit with the OOX series of battle chickens. Sicko Thermoplug. A highly controversial topic, but one cannot deny Thermoplug's engineering prowess, as he was directly competing with Gelbin Mechatork for the election of High Tinkerer. With the creation of the fully operational assault gear, he ushered in a new age for gnomish warfare. Sadly, it would not be used for the greater good of gnome kind, but instead for its own detriment. Following the fallout of Gnomergan, the blueprints for the assault gear had been lost in the ruins of the once great city. Other contributions of Thermoplug were his work on the Gnomergan ventilation system, his cooperation with Gelbin Mechaturk, as well as a series of surprisingly well-behaving mechanical dogs, many gnomes lovingly called Scrappy. Gelbin Mechatork. A rising star in the past centuries of gnomish inventions, Mechatork is known for his diligent and intricate engineering work he perfected over the years following the establishment of his very own Tinkerer Emporium. Co-developing many astounding gadgets with his former friend Sicko Thermoplug, Mechatork's popularity skyrocketed with each new invention he brought to life. Many of these found day-to-day applications, like the Harrow Gain 3000, saving many gnomish men from early baldness. It did not take long for the gnomes to elect him as High Tinkerer, the ruler of the gnomish people, given only to those deemed as the most intelligent and creative among the gnomes. Accepting the election with humility and gratitude, he vowed to uphold gnomish values and create more and more inventions to the betterment of not only the gnomes, but also their newfound allies of the Alliance. This is an oath he values and honors to this day. We have reached the end of this month's iteration of The Greatest Minds of Azeroth. I've been Iggy Moppet. Thank you for listening to Everlook Radio. Join us next time as we take a look at the torrid times of Kalimdor and the cultural difference they developed over the many years of their nomadic lifestyle.
Spell isn't ready. That spell isn't ready.
From Karazhan Crypts to West Haven's Mist, where Azeroth's is musical twist.
Welcome to the weekly Turtle Wow News with Vrograg Radio Edition. I'm your news anchor, Vrograg Fishlayer, here to bring you all the top server news for the week of September 30th, 2024. Let's get to it. I'm the Orc, and here's the news. Top news this week, 2 teaser posts from the Turtle team came out this week fueling speculation about some last-minute additions coming to 1.17.2 concerning racial ability changes and even player housing. Just to quickly clear the air, it would seem a post made to the official Turtle Wow Twitter about player housing might not be what many presumed. The post shows newly rendered models intended for the upcoming Northwind region and says, quote, "Contact your real estate agent for affordable housing in Northwind." While affordable housing might be so hard to believe it would be immersion breaking, it would seem that the flavor text of this post wasn't truly a teaser for player housing. Moriana from the Turtle team responded to community member questions about the post and said, quote, "If we would tease housing, it would be with a proper announcement, not a simple tweet. So for now, lofty dreams of being able to afford a place to live will have to remain out of reach in all realities."